G'day, I'm Andrew Marshall with the Northern Australia Climate Program at the University of Southern Queensland, and this is a short summary of the Bureau of Meteorology's climate outlook for Queensland for the weeks and months ahead, issued on the 26th and 27th of March 2025. So we'll take a look at these rainfall outlooks to begin with, starting with the outlook scenarios. And these are the rainfall totals that have a 75% chance of occurring for your region. So looking ahead to the 3 months from April to June, we're seeing a 75% chance of up to 10 to 25 millimetres for parts of Western Queensland, increasing towards the east and far north to 100 millimetres or more along parts of the coast. And as always, you can use this magnifying glass here to drill deeper into the forecast, specifying your location of interest to break the forecast down into the chance of different rainfall amounts occurring. And this will give you an idea of how conditions are likely to be compared to the historical median. Just ask your local climate mate to go through this with you in more detail. And now if we look at the temperatures, and the differences from average for maximum temperature here show cooler conditions across most of Queensland, except south of Mackay towards the southeast, where warmer conditions are expected into the first week of April. Now, parts of the Gulf country in the northwest are expecting between 4 and 5 degrees below average. And here the average is calculated over the 1981 to 2018 period for this time of year. Now, for minimum temperature, we're expecting warmer than average conditions across the state next week. And looking at the chance of extremes map for the 3 months from April to June, we're seeing an elevated chance of unusually warm days for much of the state, particularly in southern, central and southeastern regions, and unusually warm nights across Queensland. And by unusually warm, we mean the highest 20% of historical temperature records for this time of year based on that 1981 to 2018 period. Now, of course, these long-range forecasts for rainfall and temperature provide the best guidance for local climate, so that is our focus here. And these forecasts consider all ocean and atmosphere conditions that affect seasonal weather and climate. But if you are interested in some of the climate indicators that can influence the forecasts, we will have a look at these now quickly. So the El Niño Southern Oscillation remains neutral. The Bureau's model suggests that we are likely to remain in this neutral range, so neither El Niño nor La Niña until at least August, and this is consistent with all surveyed international models. The Indian Ocean Dipole, or the IOD, is also neutral and likely to remain so for the next few months. And a moderate pulse of the Madden-Julian Oscillation, the MJO, is forecast to continue its journey across the Western Pacific in the next week, where it's likely to contribute to monsoon rainfall over Northern Australia at this tail end of the wet season. And the MJO is forecast to weaken and become inactive after the first week of April. And finally, the Southern Annular Mode, or the SAM, has been positive recently, but it's forecast to be neutral until at least mid-April. Now turning to the pasture growth outlook from long paddock for the 3 months from March to May, and we're expecting to see pasture growth across the north, as is shown here, in response to the expected rainfall in the months ahead. And notice that compared to the last month's outlook, many regions are now indicating bottom tersoil growth as we start to head into the dry season. And finally, looking at the Cattle Comfort Index prototype forecasts at nacp.org.au. Now, index values between 30 and 35 degrees represent moderate stress to cattle. Values between 35 and 40 degrees represent severe stress, and values above 40 degrees are considered extreme. And we are expecting varying heat stress conditions over Northern Australia, with some extreme conditions to be aware of in the days ahead. As always, for more information and updates, visit the Bureau's climate pages at bom.gov.au/climate. If you have any questions about recent conditions or the use of weather and climate forecasts, please reach out to your local climate mate. You can read more about the Northern Australia Climate Program right here at nacp.org.au. See you next month.